Well, Craig, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. First things first, a fantastic win for you guys against Halifax at the weekend. You must have been so pleased for your first competitive hit out in quite some time that it went so well.
Yeah, we're delighted. It'd been a sort of tricky couple of weeks previous to that with the friendlies that we played against Dewsbury, but certainly the friendly against Featherstone, we were really disappointed with our performance in that game, and particularly as ruck control down the middle. We thought we were a little bit soft in the middle with our forwards, and Featherstone dominated us really. So we put a little bit of pressure onto our middles this week and put them on notice that it weren't good enough the week before, and we challenged them to be better. And we said that they would dictate the tempo in that the first 10 minutes of the game, and they'd dictate how the rest of the game will go in them first 10 minutes. And they came out firing, and luckily for us and the hard work that the players put in, they managed to keep that performance going for the full 80 minutes. So very delighted to get that first victory in the first competitive game of the season.
Was there one aspect of that performance that pleased you most? Maybe something you'd worked on in pre-season, or something that you told the boys to do, especially for Halifax?
No, it was the opposite. To be fair, as a coaching group, we held his hands up last week at training and said that we maybe underprepared him a little bit in terms of the contact area in the ruck. We thought the ruck speed would be a lot quicker than what it actually was. So we've not really done much in terms of the contacting in and around the ruck and the wrestle area and slowing the ruck down. So we've not really focused on that at all during pre-season. So we changed tack last week and give the players a little bit more contact, a little bit more training in that particular area. And in that 1 week, we saw a significant improvement based on the previous week to Featherstone. So it's that was a pleasing thing, not necessarily that was something that we'd worked on throughout pre-season, but just something that we worked on during that week. And that was massively pleasing for us, that in the space of 6-7 days, that the difference between our contact within the middle of the field and our middle units just got so much better. So the challenge now for them guys is for it not to be a one-off, and they've got to make sure it's a consistent thing, and they can do it week on week now.
We've got a big opportunity to back it up, of course, at the weekend against Featherstone, live exclusive across the Sportsman. A big game in the Challenge Cup, but also just 2 wins away from Wembley in the 1895 Cup as well. This must be an exciting time for your team.
It is definitely, yeah, and we'll certainly play on the fact that we're just two games away from Wembley. It's not every year you have the opportunity to potentially play at Wembley. So we know that we're 80 minutes away from the semi-final, and for us to get into that semi-final and have the opportunity to play at Wembley, we know we're going to have to beat a real good team in Featherstone. And we saw firsthand at the weekend against Bradford how good they are and how clinical they are. I thought Bradford competed well for the first 20 minutes of each half, but then Featherstone just kicked away. So we know that we've got to be consistent and competitive for the 80 minutes, because if we want to do it for 40 minutes in the game, then Featherstone will beat us. So it's going to be a real strong and real tricky task for us to win this weekend. And we know, as I said, we've got to play for them in 80 minutes. But we're confident with the group that we've got. Certainly after last week, it's given us a little bit more belief that maybe wasn't there the previous couple of weeks. So we're going to come out and give it a real good bash.
How much of a factor will confidence be after the performance at the weekend?
Yeah, I think it'll certainly help the guys' confidence, because I think you sometimes need that little bit of a confidence booster. Regardless of how well you think that you train, how well you think that things might have been going in pre-season, it's always nice to put things together and get that first competitive victory. And we conceded 1 try, which was from a kick, and our scramble defence were really good. Halifax threw a lot at us, and punched the nose through the defensive line a few times, but we're very desperate in our defence and our scramble, particularly on our own goal line, and that's again something that we'll need all the way through the game this week. We know that Featherstone are going to break us down at some point, but it's how we react to that. Can we scramble back and hold them up over the line, or prevent them getting to the line like we did against Halifax this week? So it's something that we're certainly looking forward to, a real big challenge against what I think are the best team in the division this year.
And the game against Halifax and this one as well, obviously huge games in their own right. But as a coach, is it a benefit to you that you've had 2 competitive hit-outs before we get to the league season?
Yeah, it is. I think we're a little bit undercooked in regards to the lack of pre-season friendlies that we can have this year. Normally, I'd like around about 4 games. We're only allowed to have 2 because of the COVID restrictions. So that was the added bonus of actually winning the game against Halifax. We get another competitive game before we play the first league game. So we are having an extra game to put a few things together and work on certain things in training and try and implement them in a game. Whereas the teams that have been knocked out of the cup, although they'll have a week off to rest some of their bodies up, it's always good to get competitive games under your belt, particularly without the added friendlies that you can have this year. So it's particularly a bonus for us, yeah.
Well, Craig, good to speak to you and best of luck for the weekend.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.